Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney, or you can call me Cece, and today I'm going to be doing the BookTube Newbie Tag. I did a little bit of research into the origins of the BookTube Newbie Tag because I like to give credit where credit is due. And it says it was originally created by Brenda C. And the hyperlink here, her channel is not up, or she might have changed her URL, so I'm not able to link her, but I will link the questions down below. So I decided to join BookTube because I've always been incredibly passionate about reading. I love talking about books. I love when people tell me what they thought about a book that I loved or hated. I just really enjoy talking about books all the time. I'm always posting about books. Reading has always been my thing. So I'm excited to bring that here and join the conversation about all these wonderful books that we're so lucky to have access to. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things that I can bring to BookTube? I'll be forthcoming. I'm not like a very bubbly personality, and I'm not like the most high energy book content creator that you'll see out there. However, I would like to think that my ability to be honest and also my humor add some uniqueness to this space. I think that a lot of discussion around books needs to be more nuanced and well-rounded, so I'm excited to have discussions like that. And I think the most fun is that I'm not really like a crafty creative person, but I have some things that I have in mind that I think will be really fun to introduce to this space. So I am excited to basically just be myself online and see where that takes me. The next question is, what are you most excited about for this new channel? And I would say that I'm most excited about making content that I'm passionate about. Like I said, I really enjoy talking about books and talking about TV and film. And I think that if I'm able to put that in a space that I'm passionate about, that it would just help me feel a lot more connected to other people. It would help me feel like I'm not crazy. Like sometimes I read a book and I really don't enjoy it, and I come online and I see that other people didn't enjoy it. It helps me feel like less crazy, especially if it's a very popular book that is otherwise doing really well. I'm excited to have a platform to connect with other people with similar interests and grow this space with you all. The next question is, why do I love reading? And I've always loved reading. There's like an inside joke in my family that they would all be off like watching TV and stuff together, and I would be in my room reading. It's always been an escapism route for me, but I also just genuinely enjoy story building. I enjoy learning about different cultures by reading. I love the fact that you can travel while you're reading, and you could be, comfortable in your bed, but you can be in an entirely different universe. And I love that about reading. I love everything about reading. I love the feel of books in my hand. I love the smell of books. I love holding my Kindle. I love putting in my earphones, listening to an audiobook. Like, I just love consuming books in any kind of medium I can get my hands on. The next question is, what book or series got you into reading? And there are a whole lot of series that got me into reading, and I'll try to remember to like put some up on the screen. But I would say that what stands out in my head is obviously the Twilight series, the Blue Blood series by Melissa de la Cruz. I did read the Vampire Diaries, but they weren't my favorite books. But yeah, so the Vampire Diaries. One of my favorite books of all time is called A Corner of the Universe by Anne M. Martin, and she wrote The Babysitter's Club if you're not familiar, but that's one of my favorite books of all time. So there's a lot of books that I remember being profound, and I remember like helping me want to read more. I would say that those are good books to recommend to youth that age. The next question is, what question would I ask my favorite booktubers? And that's a great question. So I think I would ask them how they manage to be consistent and how they juggle making reading books into a job with still enjoying books. Like, I am very fearful that having my hobby be content is going to ruin my love of said hobby, in the same way that when I was in college, I got an English degree, and getting an English degree, having to read books that I didn't want to read, it ruined my love of reading for almost a decade. So I want this community to be open. I want everyone to feel like they belong. I want everyone to feel seen and heard and cared for and uplifted. But I don't want to create a space where, you know, socially people can't thrive because they are expecting things from me or I'm expecting things from them. The next question is, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So I don't really foresee any channel challenges, if I'm being honest, but I do have some personal challenges that I think that will be difficult to overcome or at least manage. So I do live with fibromyalgia and depression and anxiety, and sometimes the physical pain, the mental pain, the anxiety can be debilitating, and it can be hard to get out of bed in the morning. So I think that those will present the most challenges. You know, on the days that my body is able to do certain things, will my mind be able to do them? I've recorded this video, like this is my third or fourth time, I think. And each time I keep finding like little things that I feel like I have to take it out. Like the first two videos I looked petrified. And then the third video I felt like I wasn't being as honest as I could be, especially about this topic of fibromyalgia and mental health, because I know that we live in a time where people talk more about mental health, but I think that there could be a lot more highlighting and discussion that happens about chronic invisible illnesses like fibromyalgia, and especially since so many people think that that disease is fake. I'm here to tell you it's not fake. It has really drastically changed my life, mostly in a bad way, but sometimes in a really good way. Like having fibromyalgia helped me stop and slow down and really take inventory of the things that are working in my life and the things that have to go. That's the blessing in fibromyalgia, but it's definitely challenging to live with. The next question is, when did I start reading? And I kind of talked about this a little bit, but for more context about me, my mom was a teacher. She was very passionate about us reading. So we all, my sisters and I, we all started reading very early on. She says that we started reading by the time we were 2, but I don't remember consciously like enjoying reading until about middle school. And that's because on the first day of summer vacation, my mom would make us go to the library and she would make us pick up like 8 to 10 books and you had to read them. And that was not even like your required reading for school. Like she just wanted us to be reading all the time. And so obviously, naturally, we all deeply resented that and didn't enjoy it. But as I got older, I was like, okay, I like this, and I stuck with it. So middle school is when I remember like enjoying books, but I was reading frequently a lot earlier than that. The next question is, where do I read? And that answer is right here. This is my bed. This is my bed. I spend a lot of time reading in my bed. I also spend time reading at my desk. Sometimes I sit on the floor. I would say 99% of the time I'm reading in bed / in my room, and the 1% that I'm not is when I'm driving and I'm listening to an audiobook. And the last question is, what kind of books do I like to read? And that question is like a little bit challenging for me right now because I feel like I'm in between what I like to read. I generally, when I first really got back into reading, I was reading romance. And full disclosure, when I was like 13, 14, I was reading romance novels, but it was like contemporary romance, erotica, Harlequin, desire. I had an aunt who was into reading, and she would like kind of like sneak me books that I was probably too young to be reading. A lot of the elements and tropes of romance I'm a little bit exhausted by because I've been reading it for so long, and to me it's not. Sometimes I feel like the romance genre as a whole is not improving, or it's not doing something new. They're just like recycling the same tropes, which is true for any genre. Like I feel like thrillers, which is also one of my favorite genres, it's kind of slipping into that arena for me now that I've read so many thrillers that I get like fatigued by them, because there's like a pattern of like an unstable woman who is on medication but not taking the medication for whatever reason, and a husband who apparently secretly hates her because he never believes anything that she says, and suspicious children. I feel like that's a formula that keeps happening across like the thriller genre as a whole. And there are some authors who do it really, really, really well, and there are some authors who don't. So Thrillers and romance were like my two genres. When I got back into reading in May of last year, I hit the ground running with romance and thrillers. But I want to be a fantasy girly. Like, I remember really enjoying fantasy novels as a young adult slash teenager, new adult, whatever. And I want to get back into fantasy. I want to read historical literature. I want to read historical romances because I heard that they're just like better, especially Regency romances. I want to read horror. I want to read sci-fi. I just want to read it all. I think that the key to avoiding burnout when you're reading or fatigue when you're reading is diversifying what you're reading. So if you read romances all the time, it might benefit you to switch to a genre that is largely that other genre but has elements of the things that you enjoy. So if you enjoy romances, you might want to switch to thrillers that have romantic elements to them but are suspenseful when you read them. Does that make sense? Thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you next time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.